In this video, I'm going to be going over the 5 steps of the marketing plan and really explain the primary function of marketing, which is to attract and maintain some quality leads for your business. So in this, we're going to be going over the basic functions, which is your mission statement, understanding the situation of your customers, knowing the goals and objectives of your marketing, and then give you some action plans that you can use for both online and offline marketing. And then to really be able to spice this up, I'm going to actually address some questions and provide you some questions that you can go ahead and use that once you understand those and kind of fill those out for yourself, you'll be able to really know where your customers are coming from and know their problems and be able to identify those solutions. So we'll get right to it. Alright, so the next step to be able to understand how to attract and maintain quality customers for your business, to be able to grow it the way we all want to, is to understand the foundation, to understand that mile-high approach of mission and strategy, and then be able to step it on down from there so that you can really get down to the fine details of what you should do and what you should ask yourself day to day to make sure that everything is operating smoothly. So to start off with the mission, it's all about showing yourself as a valued asset to your customers. You have to be able to clearly and quickly show that they're better off with you than without you. And here's a good step one for you in terms of strategy. The more explicit and clearly defined you are about your strategy, the better off you're going to be able to identify opportunities later on. And to kind of get you going with all these questions so that you can go ahead and ask yourself and hopefully identify very easily by this time in your business, we'll go ahead and ask you a few questions here. So, what is new about your product? What's innovative about it? Why is it that they need it now instead of going somewhere else or even caring about it completely? What's useful about it? How is it that it can be indispensable in their lives with their current situation? Now, this is why you really have to take some time to identify some problems and understand the current situation of your customer, but this is a great way to really start to hone down, okay, how can I show that I'm a service first, that I don't immediately care about the money that's coming into it, but show that my biggest concern is making sure that they're better off than they were before they met me. Now, in the next one, we'll go ahead and go after a little bit more details about it. The next step here is knowing the situation of your customer. And this can really be broken down into 4 different parts that are sometimes very overlooked, and when they are overlooked, it can really hurt your bottom line. Because this is all about showing your customer that you are that valued asset. And this all has to do really with first impressions. But first, it's knowing your customer well enough to know what their problem is and to be able to give them the instant information they're looking at. And it's knowing not only, there's going to be certain pain triggers, but also really illustrating to them that you know what it feels like to be in their shoes. And that's why you're the best person to help them for that. You know what the process was that they start feeling whatever pain they're feeling. You know exactly what it's like to be able to feel that from a past experience. And here's information that you propose that's going to help them. Now, the important part of that is the first impression of when they actually see your solution for their problem. You've got about 3 to 5 seconds, whether it's online or offline marketing, to be able to get their attention and show them that you know what they're going through and that here is your offer for them to go ahead and solve whatever problem they have. Now, the important parts of this is, one, to make sure that you actually know where it is that they're going. So you have to know your customers well enough, not only for the problem and solution aspect, but know them well enough to know that they're thinking of X, Y, and Z when they need a certain solution for the problem. So when you know your customers well enough to know that, then you can go ahead and just promote and advertise and share exactly that information where they're going. So you have to know them well enough to know what they're thinking of when they find that problem and where they're going to go for that solution. What do they think of when they need you? It's really about what's in your customer's mind when they need to find your business. The next part is goals and objectives. The reason this is important is because you want to make sure you're being as effective as possible in marketing. And you also want to make sure that you're getting your message out to the most quality of lead that you possibly can. Because quality of lead means 2 things. It means that they're not only going to see the value and be willing to pay top dollar for the service or product you're providing, but they're also going to be willing to be able to come back and spread the word. That is a great quality lead. So essentially here, it needs to come twofold. Really, it all comes around to making sure that in your marketing you're getting a great ROI, return on investment. And You want to make sure that you're maximizing your gain and minimizing your risk by having your message out in front of the right people and making sure that that message is actually communicating the type of people that you want to be around. Now for the next part, here's a set of questions to help you really be able to identify and smooth out your action plan for your next step so that you and your team are completely on the same page of how to be able to communicate to your customer, who your customer is, and how you can get your customer through the rest of the process so they'll go from a viewer or visitor to a loyal person. This includes, but is not limited to, these guys, which is what visuals can you use to actually attract the right kind of customers, and how can you use your marketing to follow up with your audience so that you don't lose them inside your head so they don't forget about you within 24 hours or a week. But also be asking, well, where do your potential customers actually hang out? Do you have measurements in place to make sure that your content is engaging enough? Do you have the tools and resources in place to make sure that your marketing is getting the right response rate? And do you have a source of engagement and communication to where you can constantly find out the new needs or improvements that your system needs to have so that your customers are always getting the service that they desire? And the last part of the video, we'll go ahead and go over the importance of measurements and evaluations. Now, to be able to wrap this all up, we're going to go over marketing evaluations and just a brief overview to kind of give you a more realistic glimpse of how effective marketing can really be. Because how can you know through putting all the time, money, and energy into a marketing campaign whether or not it's really truly effective as compared to what else is out there? Well, to give you an idea, no matter if it's online or offline marketing, an effective campaign is going to be about 3 to 5% customer base to where they will actually look at you. And only a certain percentage of that is actually going to buy from it. So it's important to know that you've got to have your message in front of the targeted masses, but also make sure that within that marketing, the offer that's actually being presented, that it's got enough of a profit level to it to make sure that everybody gets paid what they need to, and all of your expenses are covered. Because the last thing you want to do is go through all of this trouble, and then all of a sudden you just can't afford a single thing from it. And to give you an example, a great marketing campaign where it's really targeted to where you've got all the problems down, you've got the pain triggers, all of that kind of thing down, is only going to attract about 8%. So again, just go ahead and make sure that you've got a funded proposal to where in a variety of steps that you're able to regenerate that income that you spent on the marketing campaign. Now, for more great resources on marketing, internet marketing, and offline marketing, make sure you click on the link below. There's full of expert interviews as well as coaching, training programs, free educational resources, but also just more information on how you can be better at marketing altogether.